The wisdom of solitude. Have you ever felt the need for personal space, or wondered why some older folks prefer solitude over social gatherings? This intriguing exploration into the lives of Mr. Henderson and Mrs. Walters will shed light on the importance of respecting personal boundaries and understanding social cues, especially as we age. Join us as we delve into their experiences and uncover valuable lessons about maintaining harmony and peace in our relationships. You won't want to miss these insightful tales that might just change the way you view your interactions with others. The story of Mr. Henderson. Mr. Arthur Henderson, who turned 72 this year, has grown accustomed to enjoying solitude. When he needs to stay at home, he does so without hesitation. When the urge strikes to venture out for a brisk walk or some light exercise, he steps out into the fresh air. Even when friends reach out to visit, he usually suggests meeting at a quaint cafe or a serene park, rarely inviting them into his personal sanctuary. A relative once remarked, "You used to be so warm and welcoming. How have you become so distant now?" Mr. Henderson gently responded, "At different stages of life, our lifestyles naturally evolve. Especially in our later years, our perspectives shift from those of our youth. I find peace in a quiet daily life, sipping tea, tending to my garden, or simply enjoying the company of my thoughts. Being with family brings me joy, but I also cherish moments of solitude." Gradually, Mr. Henderson distanced himself from constant socializing. His relationships with friends transformed. They were no longer as intertwined as they once were. He realized that those who frequently came and went were often not true friends. Rather than engaging in superficial pleasantries, "I'd rather enjoy the freedom of being alone," he mused. Most elderly people's lives mirror this sentiment. They develop their own rhythms and habits. In old age, many are also reluctant to visit others' homes unannounced. They feel that as time passes, things aren't as straightforward, and being in someone else's space can sometimes be inconvenient. Visiting can inadvertently bring trouble or discomfort. Therefore, they choose to limit such visits, embracing the comfort of their own homes. Visiting as a form of disturbance. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought you were welcome, only to realize later that you weren't? It's an unsettling feeling, isn't it? Allow me to share the story of Mr. Franklin, a man who learned a valuable lesson about boundaries and social cues. Mr. Franklin lived in a cozy apartment building. One day, he bumped into his old high school classmate, Mr. Davis, in the lobby. Discovering they lived in the same building was a delightful surprise. Overjoyed, Mr. Davis exclaimed, "We must catch up properly. Why don't you come over for dinner sometime?" Eager to rekindle their friendship, Mr. Franklin accepted the invitation. That weekend, he brought a bottle of wine and headed to Mr. Davis's apartment. They reminisced over dinner, sharing stories of their youth. Mr. Davis's wife, however, seemed less enthusiastic. She greeted him politely but remained distant. Encouraged by the pleasant evening, Mr. Franklin began visiting more frequently, often unannounced. He didn't notice the growing discomfort of Mr. Davis's family. Eventually, his friend gently said, "Franklin, while I enjoy our time together, my family feels their privacy is being compromised with your frequent visits." Mr. Franklin was taken aback. He realized that the initial invitation was meant as a courteous gesture, not an open-door policy. He had mistaken politeness for a perpetual welcome. The lesson from Mr. Franklin's story. Mr. Franklin's experience highlights the importance of understanding and respecting the personal space of others, even when our intentions are good. Social interactions can be more nuanced than they appear. While reconnecting with old friends is wonderful, it's essential to be mindful of how our actions may affect them and their families. Hospitality is often extended as a formality, especially in cultures that value politeness. It's crucial to observe social cues and perhaps confirm plans before assuming an open invitation. By being considerate and perceptive, we can maintain strong, respectful relationships without overstepping boundaries. Frequent visits can cause trouble. Have you ever witnessed how a casual remark can spiral into a significant misunderstanding? The story of Mrs. Walters illustrates this all too well. Mrs. Dorothy Walters, a warm-hearted woman in her late 60s, loved socializing with her neighbors. After retiring, she joined a group of ladies who danced together in the community square. On rainy days, they would take turns hosting gatherings in their homes, sharing tea and conversation. One afternoon at Mrs. Green's house, the topic turned to family dynamics. Mrs. Walters mentioned, "My daughter-in-law isn't very proactive around the house. Perhaps it's because she was an only child and grew up a bit spoiled." She said it lightheartedly, without malice. However, word got back to her daughter-in-law, distorted into a harsher critique. It was rumored that Mrs. Walters was deeply dissatisfied and felt her son had married beneath him. Hurt and offended, her daughter-in-law grew distant. Her son confronted Mrs. Walters, accusing her of spreading gossip and creating family discord. Feeling misunderstood and isolated, Mrs. Walters regretted the casual comment. She realized that even innocent remarks could be misinterpreted and cause pain. Deciding to avoid such situations, she chose to limit her social visits, focusing instead on solitary activities like reading and gardening. Mrs. Walters' story is a poignant reminder of the power of words. In our interactions, especially within tight-knit communities, it's vital to be mindful of what we share. Gossip, even unintentional, can damage relationships and foster mistrust. As we age, finding a balance in our social lives becomes increasingly important. While companionship enriches our lives, preserving harmony in our personal relationships takes precedence. By setting boundaries and being cautious with our words, we can protect the bonds that matter most. Different economic conditions can cause psychological imbalance. In today's diverse society, families within the same community can have vastly different economic backgrounds. Frequent social interactions between families of differing means can sometimes lead to feelings of inadequacy or jealousy. Consider Mr. and Mrs. Clark, who lived modestly on their retirement savings. Their neighbors, the affluent Johnsons, often invited them over for lavish dinners. While the Clarks appreciated the gestures, they couldn't shake the feeling of being overshadowed. The Johnsons' conversations about exotic vacations and expensive hobbies made them uncomfortable. This unintentional flaunting of wealth created a psychological gap. The Clarks began to feel inferior, and visits became a source of stress rather than joy. To preserve their peace of mind, they chose to limit social interactions, focusing instead on activities that brought them genuine happiness. Embracing solitude and independence. Choosing to live independently doesn't mean isolating oneself. It's about recognizing personal needs and understanding that it's okay to prioritize one's well-being. Solitude can be a source of strength, offering time for reflection and personal growth. As we age, the ability to enjoy our own company becomes increasingly valuable. It allows us to cope with life's inevitable changes and losses. By embracing solitude, we can find contentment within ourselves, reducing reliance on external validation. In conclusion, the stories of Mr. Henderson, Mr. Franklin, and Mrs. Walters offer valuable insights into the complexities of social interactions in our later years. They remind us of the importance of respecting personal boundaries, being mindful of our words, and understanding the impact of economic differences on relationships. Embracing solitude and setting healthy boundaries can lead to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. It's about finding balance, cherishing the relationships that uplift us while also honoring our need for personal space. If these stories have resonated with you and inspired reflection, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to share your comments below. Your feedback means the world to us. Part 2. The greatest assets at 70. Imagine reaching the age of 70, a milestone where life takes on a new meaning. You've built a career, raised a family, and accumulated a wealth of experiences. But what if the greatest assets you could have at this age aren't a big house or a hefty bank account? What if there's something far more valuable? Let's explore the 4 essential things that can make your life truly peaceful and happy in this new chapter. Health, the foundation of well-being. At 70, health becomes our most precious asset. Without good health, the joys of life can be overshadowed by the challenges of illness. Mrs. Evelyn Thompson, a spirited 73-year-old, had spent much of her life caring for others, her children, grandchildren, and even neighbors. In doing so, she often neglected her own well-being. Skipping medical checkups and ignoring minor ailments became her norm. One day, she experienced a health scare, a mild stroke that served as a wake-up call. Realizing that she needed to prioritize herself, Mrs. Thompson embarked on a journey to improve her health. She adopted a balanced diet, began attending gentle yoga classes, and made regular appointments with her doctor. Over time, her vitality returned. She found joy in daily walks, tending to her garden, and even joined a book club. Her improved health allowed her to participate actively in family gatherings, creating cherished memories with her loved ones. Mrs. Thompson's story underscores that investing in our health enables us to fully enjoy life and the people we love. Good health reduces the burden on our families and allows us to maintain independence. At 70, nurturing our physical well-being is key to a fulfilling life. Family, the heart of happiness. Family provides love, support, and a sense of belonging. Nurturing these relationships is essential for emotional well-being. Garcia's reunion. Mr. Antonio Garcia had dedicated his life to building a successful business. In his pursuit of professional achievements, he often missed important family events. Estranged from his children, he found himself alone after retirement. Realizing that wealth meant little without loved ones to share it with, he reached out to his children. It wasn't easy. There were years of absence to account for. But with patience and sincerity, he began to rebuild those relationships. Family dinners became a regular occurrence. Mr. Garcia shared stories of his youth and listened to his grandchildren's aspirations. The laughter and warmth that filled his home rejuvenated his spirit. The value of family. Mr. Garcia's experience teaches us that it's never too late to mend and cherish family bonds. These relationships bring profound joy and fulfillment, far surpassing material success. Financial stability, peace of mind. Having financial stability in our later years provides security and peace of mind. Bennett's wise planning. Miss Margaret Bennett, a retired teacher, had always been prudent with her finances. She lived modestly, saving diligently for her retirement. When unexpected expenses arose, a leaky roof, medical bills, she was prepared. Her financial independence meant she didn't have to rely on her children, though they were always willing to help. This autonomy allowed her to make choices freely, from traveling to new places to donating to causes she cared about. The significance of financial stability. Ms. Bennett's foresight highlights the importance of planning for the future. Financial stability empowers us to live on our own terms, reducing stress and fostering a sense of control over our lives. A positive mental state, embracing joy. A positive outlook profoundly impacts our quality of life. At 78, Mr. Daniel Lee was known for his infectious optimism. A widower, he could have succumbed to loneliness, but instead, he chose to celebrate life. He spent his days painting vibrant landscapes, volunteering at the local shelter, and learning new recipes to share with friends. "Every day is a gift," he'd say with a smile. "There's always something to be grateful for." His positivity not only enriched his own life, but also inspired those around him. Friends and neighbors sought his company, drawn to his uplifting spirit. Mr. Lee's approach demonstrates that happiness is a choice. By focusing on the good and embracing new experiences, we can enhance our emotional well-being, which in turn benefits our physical health. As we reflect on these stories, it's clear that the greatest assets in our later years aren't material possessions, but health, family, financial stability, and a positive mental state. These are the true treasures that bring fulfillment and happiness. Thank you for joining us on this journey of reflection and wisdom. If these stories have touched your heart or inspired you in any way, we warmly invite you to become a part of our community. Please consider subscribing for more stories and insights that celebrate life and the wisdom that comes with age. Your thoughts and experiences are invaluable to us. Feel free to share your comments below. Your feedback means a great deal and helps us continue sharing content that resonates with you. Take care, stay healthy, and until next time, farewell.